Good morning, YouTube. This is my first video. I'm a little apprehensive about doing this, but it is something I need to kind of get off my chest a little bit. This may be a little lengthy, but I just want to say a few things about a few problems I've been running into. I have a bunch of veteran friends. Okay, I'll tell you what, a little backstory. Mid 80s, I went in the military. I left my little hometown of Hartsville, South Carolina, which where I'm at right now. I went to Germany, was with the 3rd ID. People that don't understand, that's the 3rd Infantry Division. Very famous division. I left Germany, spent 3.5 years in Germany, but went back to the stateside, and went to Fort Hood, Texas, with the 2nd Armored Division, which is another famous division. Shortly after, I was deployed to Saudi Arabia, Desert Storm / Shield, or this period of time I didn't have a wife or kids or anything, so my kids didn't come till after my military career. Well, wasn't a career. Anyway, over the years, things has happened. My combat trauma had got really bad, and an incident happened right at the tail end of my military stay or enlistments. From that point on, it messed with me in ways I didn't understand. So, got married in 92. That marriage didn't last long because of complications. Can't really say it was all her fault, but because of a couple of traumas I had, it affected my relationship. There's a lot of other vets that go through the same thing. Hard to keep relationships, jobs, hard to feel stable or just whatever. Anyway, lost 2 marriages. I married a 2nd woman, and great woman. I have nothing bad to say. Took years for her to finally tell me what was happening, and in my sleep I would do things to hurt her and not know I was doing it. Wake up in the morning just oblivious. Didn't even know it was happening, and I would just kind of laugh it off, like, why is she mad at me? But I didn't know. I didn't do nothing wrong. The reason for this video is I'm coming to it with that, so just bear with me. Communication is a big issue with women and relationships, and guys think that, some guys, that if we're not told things are bad, then how can we fix it? Women have this intuition that they feel that something's going on, and then they bombard you with 800 questions about the same shit, and it pisses guys off, and then we go off the handle, and we end up by ourselves, or breaking up with your girlfriend, or separating from your wife, and all kind of crap that goes on. But where I'm going with this is this: I have a bunch of friends that are hooked up to some military sites on Facebook, and I've had friends from all my hospital stays. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I've been in the hospital in a lockdown facility a few times, 4 as a matter of fact. My recent one was in Sheridan, Wyoming. Was only supposed to be there 7 weeks. Ended up being there 8 months. Once the floodgates started opening, and trying to find out the problems I was having and everything else, it was advised for me just to stay and try to get help. In 2013, I went to Ohio, Fort Thomas, Kentucky. That door was kicked open there a little bit, and then people's just edged it open since then. People that don't understand that terminology is when you're in therapy talking about your traumas or your issues, it can open up other doors, and you'll have a whole other set of problems or issues you got to deal with. Well, that's what happened. It's been a long, hard 27 years. It's been a long, hard 27 years after the military, and this one trauma that has, excuse me for cussing if you're out there and you're Christians or whatever, I'm sorry. That last trauma just fucked me up forever. A bunch of my friends last night, we were talking. I've been up all night, and I've been sitting over here at this little place. I was fortunate enough to know a guy, or still know him. His name is Jason Voss. Before I left for the Sheridan, I was with a girl named Jessica, Jessie, Jess. A lot of people's got different names for her. We were friends for 10 years, 10 years. Knew her dad, knew her sister, and when I started dating Jessie, I met her mom. Anyway, I was talking to a bunch of friends of mine about relationships last night. Jason came up. I was fortunate enough to acquire a piece of property. I'm trying to get everything situated so the VA can help me purchase this piece of property, but it's got to be VA ready first. So we made an agreement, a lease agreement and everything, and that's what I've been doing. I've been working on the property, cleaning up, trying to find the boundaries, doing everything that I need to do to get this done. And I am I'm beyond words when it comes to Jason and what he's done for me. Me and a bunch of vets talk about our issues sometimes. It's not every day, it's not every week, it's not every month, but sometimes it's a marathon. A subject could get breached, and then we will have to talk it through. Sometimes it's a little quick little discussion, and then again it could go all night. Well, last night we got talking about a few little items that all of us vets have been through one time or another that's in this little group. I'm not saying every one of them is like this, and I'm not saying that we as vets give up or get needy or get whatever. Everybody needs somebody, and I totally understand that. But the guys told me that I was the lucky one, and I kept telling them why. I kept asking why. Why did they think I was the lucky one? And our discussion last night started out just as simple as anything. How are you, and how is your family, friends, girlfriend, wife, whatever, doing? And that's a touchy subject for me. I recently got into a little bit of trouble. I was expressing some feelings. Hold on one second. 10:30. Sorry about that. It's just an alarm. I got to make a phone call soon. Anyway, they said I was a lucky one. And I said, well, why? They said, well, you got out. And I said, well, what do you mean got out? Got out of a relationship that was bad, volatile, whatever. And I said, no, my relationship was fine. Getting back to the whole communication thing, we all talked about our relationships and how they went about doing it and everything. And in late 2016, I felt I needed to pursue another hospital stay. I had feelings that I really hadn't felt before, in a long time. I really wanted things to work with Jesse, so I talked to my therapist, and then I talked to Jesse, and I said, I think I need another hospital stay. They set it up, long story short. Said, okay, we got you a hospital stay, but it ain't till April of 2017. So I had 6 or 8 months to communicate with my girlfriend at the time about this. We sat down pretty much every night, and she had a bunch of questions and just concerns and all kind of stuff. And it always ended up, well, I ain't gonna say always, about 80% of the time I ended up with her crying that she would miss me and she would whatever, for 6 or 8 months I communicated with her, And then when you hear, well, when I left, let's backtrack. When I left for the hospital in April the 20th, it was a Friday. I remember it just as fresh as if it was yesterday. A little cloudy. Um, I rode the motorcycle out. It was 2,200 plus miles. I figured a good 4 day run, spend a couple nights in a hotel, clear my head, ride 500-600 miles out a day, every day. Um, then that last day, I could just do a short run, 300-400 miles maybe, and then I'd be there. Um, I thought everything was fine. Um, I thought I was using my tools that my therapist and everybody else told me about: communication, 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 honesty, everything else. So when I left, um, I never even thought about it. I thought when I left, well, when I, before I left, I moved totally in with her, gave up an apartment that I had for about 8 years, and I thought everything was moving forward. Well, about 3 weeks in, month in, you know, things fall apart. I ain't gonna tell you what was said. Um, she just took my head off. From that point on, it was downhill. It was like she provoked it, you know, and all she had to do was tell me that she needed an out. Well, our conversations last night was on this subject: communication and people standing by you and all kind of stuff. Well, um, I talked to a bunch of Vietnam vets that's had their girlfriends from back in the 60s, man. We talking mid 60s, that stood by them through leaving for basic and AIT, and then going back home for a few days or a week or so, and then having to jump on a bus or a plane and head to Saigon or Vietnam, wherever, Korea, uh, Normandy, Germany. And this has been going on for decades and decades and decades. Soldiers leaving their families and going to fight. Um, well, these Vietnam vets was like, son, I mean, you got to talk to your woman, your wife, your kids, your family, or whatever. Well, I am so confused with all this that it's just um, it's not making no sense to me. I did all the right things. I talked, I communicated, I expressed my feelings, my thoughts, how I was going to feel when I was gone. We talked about what was going to happen when I left, how the hospital was going to be. It's a semi-lockdown facility where after a certain time in the afternoon, you can sign out and go to town or go do whatever, and then you got to be back in at a certain time. But it's not automatic. I mean, you have to earn that right to do that. So you have to prove yourself and do the work. And well, we had this conversation about what was going to happen and everything else. All the tears and all the hugging and everything else. I'll support you. I got you back, and all this kind of stuff. And I hear all these Vietnam vets and Korean War vets and everything else. They still got their special person that they had back in the day standing right beside them through all the heartache and through all the aches and pains and all the counseling appointments and The fellas last night said I was lucky. And I was like, well, hey, I don't understand how I'm lucky because I feel like shit. I feel like um, everybody abandoned me at a time of need, like I really, really needed her. And she just up and just said, I can't do it no more. Well, honesty, they preach honesty, women do. Now, I'm going to take a dig at a woman now. And I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just a confusing way. I'm just confused, and any comments would be great on this. A lot of men won't even breach this subject with a woman, but you know what? I don't have a woman. So, here's what I want to say. When we're honest about our feelings, our thoughts, our whatever, our desires, our what do we want out of life, and all kind of stuff. It's good. They respond and everything else. But when we need information from these significant others, that's a good word. When we need information from them about certain things that's happened or incidents that's happened or just whatever, we don't get no response. It's kind of like a one-sided conversation. My experience, when my marriages failed and everything else, my second wife stepped up and told me 15 plus years later, 20 years later, 15 years later, exactly why she didn't want to be with me anymore. And I respect that. It was late, but I do respect that because she did step up and tell me, and she was crying. I know if she hears this or sees this, I'm sorry, Lisa, but she was crying up a storm about it. Like she felt bad, like she let me down. Well, I get that people get scared in everyday situations. Not just war with military or whatever, or cops or firemen. There's people every day that get afraid that they'll never see their loved one again when they walk out of a door or ride off on a motorcycle or jump in a truck and take off. I mean, we're not guaranteed another minute of another day. So people get scared. Well, I really appreciate my ex, Lisa, for finally telling me what happened. And I broke down like a double barrel shotgun, man. I mean, I broke down, and I'm not afraid to say this. I cried like a 2-year-old. I don't like to hurt nobody. I mean, if you hurt my family, my dog, my whatever, I'll fight for it. I mean, but I cried. I cried like a 2-year-old. I felt like I let her down. And see, this is where our conversations were running to last night. My ex didn't tell me 20 years ago that I was choking her in her sleep, or that I was having nightmares, and I'd pin her to the bed with my knees in her shoulders, and I just didn't know I was doing none of this stuff. My point being is this. It's one-sided a lot of times with us vets. They blame us. Kids end up getting mad with us and stuff, and all because of no communication. Communication with family, friends, no matter how bad it is or how bad you think it is, you've got to talk about it. You've got to keep them in the loop. Talk to them, communicate. I laugh about it because they will tear us up, boy. They'll tear some guys up in a heartbeat. You don't communicate. Guys don't know how to communicate, this, that, and the other. But when all this shit goes down with combat traumas and TBIs and everything else from the war and all kind of stuff, I'm not saying anything that firemen and police and all them don't get the same kind of nightmares seeing things that they see. But a lot of them are veterans themselves. They've seen it all before. That's why they can go be a cop or a fireman or whatever and see all this carnage and all this here bad stuff, and it don't affect them. People think that they have no feelings and they don't care. No, it's not that. They've seen way worse a multitude of times, so therefore it's kind of it's just what it is. You know, the world is bad like it is. I really want to say I try to communicate. Sometimes I'm a little bit too straight up, too bold, but you know, I communicate. It's at a turning point now. I got this little tiny place. I'm not sure if you can see this. That little dog right there, I've had since 1986 from Germany. This is my little sanctuary. It's a little tiny little house. It's 18 feet by 22 feet. And I call it Seven Oaks. It's very, very small. It's very small. This is where I go. Got a nice little place here. I'm trying to get my life together enough that I could enjoy life and do stuff. I can't do that because I don't like who I see. Me doing this video and me staring at my face in this is not a good thing. I don't like what I see. I try to help people. I got a lawn care company called Freedom Lawn Care that I help veterans, and about 70% of my business is helping veterans that don't have money or their health is bad and all kinds of stuff. So one major point was brought up last night. They asked me how I go about, how much do I help people? And I help people all the time. I got a few friends, I ain't gonna call no names, I got a few friends. They break down on their motorcycle, I'll load up the trailer and I'll go take them wherever they gotta go, and they ain't got no money, or they a little short, or they unsure. You know, I'll just say no. I'll shake their hand and say, you know, square me away later if I need you, whatever, just remember me. I got a few friends that if I do have a few little dollars here and there, you know, she'll ask me, and if I got it, I can help her. If I can't, I can't. That's about basic. Um, I don't like to be used. I don't. It makes everything that much worse. I was asked last night, or I should say a few hours ago, at the tail end of our marathon night, talking about life, the past, the present, the future, and all kind of stuff. I was asked, I don't know, it's kind of a weird subject. Do you regret helping anybody? Generally, I say no, because I enjoy helping people. But is there one person in your life you regret helping if you had to name one? And I have to say, yeah, there is one. The last one that I trusted, the last one that I poured my heart out to and laid out everything and told things that I didn't feel comfortable telling anybody else. Yes, there is one. My therapist at the hospital says I need to confront and talk about it. Well, this is kind of my way of doing it. Last night, we all pretty much come to the same decision or the same point in the conversation, that there was somebody that they regretted ever meeting or helping or whatever. Well, before I say this, I regret losing a friend of 10 years. But I wish no harm or no sickness or no bad juju or whatever you want to call it to this person. But I do regret going over and helping her get her house ready to sell, and then this what started everything with me and Jesse. Me trying to help her, I had no intentions of dating or anything. It just happened, and I thought that she was the one. Well, I was wrong. I was very wrong. But you know, I wouldn't have what I have now if I would still be with her. We all come up with this last night. Everybody that I talked to last night either took off and tried to find themselves or get a better life or whatever, or their wives or their husbands left, because there was a few females in this group last night, and because we got a good side, I mean a woman's side and a man's side of all these conversations, so it was very informative, to say the least. Anyway, I have come to the conclusion that I like helping people. These days I have to be kind of selective about who I help, because I've been kind of screwed, and not sure if it's reciprocated. So I have to kind of back off and put my guard up a little bit. But I still help people. I still want to help people. I still want to help vets and with their yards and stuff like that. People's got over on me, and I understand that. You know, they'll fake it. Yeah, my husband was military, and I know they wasn't, so that's fine. But they got to sleep. They got to answer to all that. I sleep pretty good at night knowing that I help vets and I can give back. So I know this is very long. It ain't that long, but there's a lot of good points in all this. Communication between spouses, significant others, whatever. If you're in a relationship that you doubt, start asking questions, start communicating, because I've lost faith in the opposite sex. I would rather be by myself and not hurt anybody else forever now. I won't even have an animal, because who knows? I don't want that animal to look back or to expect me to walk through a door and I don't. I mean, that's how bad it's got for me. So, communication. Talk to your significant other if you've got concerns or whatever. If you want it to work, then fine. If you've been in a relationship for a long period of time and you know it's a mistake and they just there for whatever, you're wasting your time and hers, because there's going to be a day to where she's going to walk out or leave, or you feel that it ain't going to work out or it's bad, and then you're going to leave, and then it's going to be bad all the way around. It don't matter. One of y'all going to walk out. So, communication. If it's bad, cut it off now and walk out and try to find yourself or another way to do things, or find you a place to stay and get on with your life, whether it be with somebody else or if you want to go that route, or just whatever. Communication is the key. You got to talk. If they won't talk to you, there ain't nothing you can do about it. You can stay there and try to get somebody to talk forever and ever. If they don't want to talk to you, one of two things is going to happen. Either they scared and they don't want to hurt your feelings, or they don't love you and they're just there for other reasons. Whether it's a marriage of convenience, or a relationship of convenience, or whatever. So get out, let them move right on along and sponge off somebody else or whatever. But don't stay in a relationship for the wrong reasons. If they don't love you, they don't support you, they don't whatever, you can find support from friends or whatever, and you can live by yourself and do what you got to do. That is my point. My point is, a dead-end relationship, a loveless relationship, ain't got to go on. My ex will not talk to me. Won't tell me the day or the time or a ballpark of when she stopped loving me and all kind of stuff, when she stopped supporting me. So don't do like I did. Don't learn after you've done pulled off going to a hospital to get help, to realize that the person you were in love with don't love you. So to all my vets, please, it'll get rough if you ask these questions, but you know what? I would rather go through all this rough patch early in a relationship than to go 10, 15, 20 years down the road and somebody tell you, I never loved you. I stopped loving you after 2 years. I just felt sorry for you and stayed with you. No. A guy don't need that. A woman don't need that. So just be honest. Communication is everything. Well, you know, it's getting kind of late. I know this is a long video and all, but you know, a lot of people don't talk about communication much. They point fingers and blame people, but they don't communicate. Um, the women that I've seen and that I run across, they point, they lay blame on everybody else but them. When they say, "Well, you never talk to me, you never talk to me," but when you ask the critical questions, they won't answer them. So how are we supposed to? How are we supposed to take this information and analyze it and try to come up with an answer that's in my head or in anybody's head? How are you supposed to go on without having that information to close out this chapter? Everybody needs closure. I don't care if you're a guy, a hardcore guy, and whatever. Everybody needs closure on things to move on to the next stage or the next whatever. So, if you're in a relationship and it's dead end and you don't know if somebody loves you or not, then ask the important questions. I know it's gonna be bad, but it's gonna get way bad when you start asking these questions. But you know what? There will be a lot of truth come out of it. If they love you, they'll still be there. If they don't, then you know you got your answer, man. Human beings need to know that they're loved and they're whatever. People don't know how to express love or whatever, but they have their own specific ways of doing it. Some people don't say I love you on a daily basis. Some people overcompensate and say I love you for everything, everybody. Oh, I love you, man, I love you. You know, that word is thrown out there like just whatever, you know, and I don't like doing it. But anyway, communicate with your partners, with your loved ones, with your kids. I had to tell my kids about my major trauma that messed me up, and that was a hard thing for me to do, but I did it. And I'm grateful for it. But I really believe that people in general can be better off if women, especially, y'all talk about we don't express our feelings or we don't talk or we don't do this, but when we want to, you don't want to talk to us. So y'all got to be a little bit more open-minded and not demand stuff right there on the spot. We have to have time to process this stuff. So give us a little time to express our feelings and thoughts. It might not be immediate, but give us a little bit of time. I mean, hell, you might as well go ahead and say, if you can't give me an answer today, then I'm walking out the door. Well, I mean, what are we supposed to do if we can't give you an answer right then? What if our processor is slow, and you got a processor hooked up to a government agency that's 1,000 times faster? You know, y'all can process that stuff, and men don't do that. I mean, we have to sit down and try to figure it out. I think that's all we. I think that's all we gotta try to figure out in life. This video is about communication, not just veterans, but just people in general. Communication and a few of my experiences with my ex and everything else. Um, I know that I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I hadn't went to the hospital. I had to roll the dice. We talked, but she didn't communicate. She didn't tell me her side of it. I told her everything I was feeling, what I was going to have to go through, that I was going to need her, and everything else. But she didn't reciprocate. She didn't tell me nothing. So when I rode off, and wasn't even probably out of the county good, she already had my shit packed up. So, but that's what they say, you live and learn kind of thing. Well, that will never happen again for me. I am done with the relationships, the whatever. I got a bunch of friends I can go hang out, I can go eat with, I can go to the movies, I can jump on the bike and go down to Daytona, or I can ride to Sturgis, or I can go do anything I want. I got friends. I ain't got no relationships. I don't want one. People trying to give me dogs and stuff, or animals and all kind of stuff. I'm not even going to do that, because if something happens, an accident happens, I wreck, or, we're not guaranteed another minute in this world. So I don't want to disappoint nobody, and I'm not going to have it. So my deal has been, I speak my mind, and I'm sorry if it comes across harsh and all kind of stuff, but that's just the way it goes. I've turned over a new leaf. There have been people try to help me in the past in Wyoming. They let me down and everything else. So these counselors at Sheridan Wyoming Hospital, Megan tried to help me. She ended up kind of betraying me and everything else. The VA here in South Carolina, they did the same thing. So I have to try to do this on my own and handle it the best I can. And when I go down for a few days, people freak out and think I'm blowing a gasket and coming unglued and all kind of stuff, and that's not the case. I just have to, I know that if I'm by myself and just hanging out and relaxing, resting, whatever, doing small projects here at the house, it's not that I don't love you guys as friends and family. It's just I'm trying to cope with serious stuff that y'all will never understand. Other veterans and other people would, but not y'all. So I want to end this by saying I love you guys. The people that support veterans and family that goes through stuff that are in crisis, and I love you guys. Y'all got all my respect. The people that say they support veterans and stuff like that, not so much. Proof is in the pudding. I mean, you can't say that you support something and turn around and just talk crap about it, and then this, that, and the other, and a vet is a vet is a vet. A brother is a brother is a brother. I got veteran friends that don't particularly like me, or we don't hang out. But you know what? I love him as a brother, because he is an Army veteran, and I know for a fact that we could put our differences aside, and he would be right beside me. After it's over with, we can shake hands and hug, whatever we got to do, and then we'll go right back to where we was at before. That is a true brother. That is something that is hard to find in this world. Um, all bullshit aside. Um, please, if you support something, support it all the way. Don't support it just when it's convenient. If you love your family, your husband, your boyfriend, your whatever, communicate with them and tell them you're not happy or you're scared or you're just whatever. Just tell them. They will be upset, but they will greatly appreciate it more than you know. It's it's hard to hear that people stop loving you or just don't care for you anymore or whatever. But you know what? You can move on past that. The hard and the harsh thing about it is going through life with somebody all these years and months or whatever, knowing that they don't love you and they just there, wasting your time and theirs. That ain't right. So anyway, reach out to other veterans or other people in your life. You'll need them one day. The people that won't talk to you about the past and try to get closure, there's nothing you can do about it. I have took precautions on that. I'm not worried about it no more. If she won't talk to me about it, she won't talk to me about it. That's fine. That's cool. I'm gonna live my life, do what I do, and I hope everybody else does too. YouTube, I appreciate y'all letting me vent. If you're in the South Carolina area, North Carolina area, I'm real close to North Carolina stuff, so I'm right here in the mid-state. If I can help you, Freedom Lawn Care, my phone number is 843-917-7598, 843-917-7598. Feel free to call me. I will load my trailer and my gear, whatever I need. I can help you out that way. I'm not a rich man, but I'll help you out any way I can. I do that a lot. Like I said, about 60-70% of my business is out of pocket kind of stuff. So it don't bother me one bit to spend all my money helping vets. It don't bother me, which I say it like I got a lot of money, but I don't. Got a lot of bills, got a lot of stuff going on. Sometimes I get financially strapped and somebody will call me for a yard or something and it'll open it up again. I'll do the job and then I'll have enough money to help these other vets, and it's just a snowball effect, and I don't know where it comes from, but I am grateful. So if I can help anybody, please call me. That's all I can say. Once again, I thank y'all for letting me vent, and I hope everybody has a great Monday. I know Mondays are kind of rough, but I've been up all night. I'm gonna go try to figure out. We had a bunch of rain. I'm gonna see if I can go help some more people today, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.